Hi, my name's Aisha Harrison, and I'm from Olympia, Washington. And my primary mediums are clay, and I also work in a variety of other sculptural mediums, including bronze. I would characterize my practice as a spiritual practice. And I say that because a lot of my work comes from a deeper well of place where I can connect with my ancestral lines, and that includes not just my human ancestors, but my more than human ancestors. And I try to be kind of a conduit between the realms and do the best I can, bringing out things, stories that they want heard. I also have a public side of the practice, and I feel like in some ways it's a lot the same, where the stories will be from the public that I bring to the work. My artistic process varies, but it almost always begins with some, like I was talking about, the kind of a deeper dive into a place where it's not just me, I'm sort of working with other spiritual energies and trying to figure out what needs to be created. And then from that, I will draw and write, and a lot of writing, and try and just get closer and closer to what actually needs to be made. And then I will sometimes make some of those drawings into a more fleshed out drawing. Sometimes I just move directly into 3 dimensions. My brain is pretty 3-dimensional, like wired, so I prefer to work that way. So maybe I'll make a small maquette, just like work out the idea a little bit more in 3 dimensions. And then I will figure out the scale that I want to work at, and then figure out the materials that I need to work in. And then, depending on where the piece is going to be, if it's going to be an outdoor piece, then it needs to be in a durable material like bronze. If it can be an indoor piece, then I will probably work in clay. Right now, I'm building a giant big leaf maple tree because big leaf maples are declining in this region where they are a native plant, a native species, and they're declining a lot. And so I'm making a big leaf maple tree with my mom, actually, as a prayer for them. And so that material is actually, we are collecting plant material, cutting it up, cooking it, beating it, making it into paper, and then we're casting all the leaves out of paper. And then I'm making the tree out of other sculptural materials that are not my normal materials. So, and also, when I work in bronze, I have to make the things out of, like I usually use pink foam as my starting base, sort of the armature, and then I'll use oil clay instead of my water-based clay so that I don't have to worry about covering it up, and it's a lot easier for the foundry. Well, I really want to talk about Tacoma because, when I got called to do this, this piece for the University of Washington, Tacoma, and the Washington State Arts Commission, I was so thrilled. This is my first big commission like this, and to be asked to do something in Tacoma is beyond my wildest dreams of what could happen. I've made a lot of work in really spaces where people look at me and just kind of want the token, and they don't see the full me. And I feel like Tacoma has embraced me in this way that is really humbling, really awe-inspiring for me, and just feels like home. It feels more accepting, more kind of generous than in almost any community I've ever been in, with the exception of Baltimore. So I just want to give my heartfelt appreciation and thanks to Tacoma, and for the many, many people and groups that have come to seed sessions, and just like I'm just in awe of how much people were willing to give. Not just the artists, but I mean, I'm talking about people who don't think of themselves as artists. They would come to these seed sessions and make a small sculpture out of clay, and they would give it their all, their hopes, their dreams, things they want in the future for themselves, for their communities. They would make that thing in clay and be willing to give it to me and talk about it with their friends or whoever was with them. And I just find that to be so compelling. And I don't think I would have found that kind of willingness in other communities necessarily. And I think the acceptance of what I was actually offering I feel like in Tacoma was accepted in this different kind of way than I have ever felt before. My work is about the body and about my body and also other bodies that look like mine, and experiences and history and how we can make it through today, and how we've made it through yesterday. So I'm going to say that. And then I also want to acknowledge and really pay homage to the people who've come before me. I want to especially thank Dr. Maxine Mims, and who recently passed, as well as other Black feminists who have talked about the kitchen table being a place for not only nourishment and community organizing, but also education. And so I just want to make sure people know that a lot of work has been done and will continue to have to be done. And art is a way of doing that work. And that's where I am at with my life's purpose.